Evidence of a covert tunnel is found by Gary. Could the numerous unresolved questions be resolved by this hidden tunnel? To learn more, keep watching. In a current episode of The Curse of Oak Island, the team, which also consists of archaeologists Dr. Aaron Taylor and Miriam Amaralt, geoscientist Dr. Ian Spooner, and metal detector expert Gary Drayton, examines stone walkways and a potential cellar feature close to the swamp's eastern border. During their investigation, Gary and David uncover a signal embedded in a wall, which eventually results in the finding of a huge caster wheel hidden beneath. Gary speculates that this wheel would have been used on Oak Island during a tunneling project, adding to the other finds of tunneling equipment on the island. Gary finds evidence of a hidden tunnel, which raises the question of whose responsibility it was to place the item there in the first place, and whose it was to find it afterwards, the original depositors or the later searchers. The team plans to carry out more investigation into the caster wheel in light of this discovery. In the vicinity of the marsh's eastern edge, metal detectorist Gary Drayton and the rest of the team are searching for stone pathways and a possible underground structure. Along with Dr. Aaron Taylor and Miriam Amaralt, the team also includes Dr. Ian Spooner, a geoscientist, and other archaeologists. In the midst of their excavation, Gary and David find a signal in a wall, so they ask Aaron to assist them by taking it out. On Oak Island, Gary thinks there may have been a tunneling operation and they discover a big caster wheel that may have been used in that. It is unclear whether or if this find was left by depositors or searchers, because it adds to the body of evidence of earlier tunneling tools discovered on the island. The group wants to store this discovery away for later investigation because it has caught their attention. Treasure hunter Gary Drayton used a metal detector and discovered not one but two distinct treasures. In the general area of Oak Island's shoreline, he made his first discovery. Drayton and his team found a button from an officer's uniform from the 17th century, although it is unknown to what branch of the armed forces it may have belonged. The military, on the other hand, might have buried some of the island's secrets, according to some evidence. Drayton and his colleagues made the second discovery that day not too far away, in a woodland. They found a tiny coin buried in the ground that they suspected to be another Maravedi from the 17th century, similar to the one that had been found at the end of the previous season. However, compared to the other coins, this one appeared to be significantly smaller, likely 2 Maravedis instead of 8. Even though they are small, these astonishing finds could point to a much bigger treasure that is hidden on Oak Island. Gary Drayton made a second double discovery while using his metal detector to search for wealth near Oak Island's shoreline. This time, Drayton and his team, along with Rick Lagina, the team leader from Oak Island, unearthed 2 King Charles II Britannia coins from the 17th century buried beneath the rocks and pyrite that were scattered along the shore. One of the coins that was found has the year 1771 clearly printed on its surface, supporting the idea that the money is older than a few hundred years. These coins from the 17th century, whence did they originate? Could they have been dropped accidentally by somebody searching for buried treasure in a hurry? Or else, and this is where there is reason for optimism, could they have been left there by a wealthy group that was on Oak Island looking to conceal its own loot? The Oak Island crew would, without a doubt, have to do more investigation. Generally speaking, the history of treasure hunting on Oak Island can be traced back to the time the money hole was dug there. The pit, commonly known as the money pit, is supposed to contain the hidden wealth. An artificially made hole is the pit. According to folklore, when exploring the island in 1795, some young people believed to be 13 or 14 years old discovered a depression in the ground. They dug because they believed it to be a man-made pit, and as they dug, they discovered layers of wood and other objects. They tried to continue their exploration, but were thwarted by a deluge of unknown origin that flooded the pit. Following the rapid dissemination of the news of the discoveries, Rick and Marty Lagena, brothers who were filming their treasure search on Oak Island for the History Channel, were in charge. The fact that this is the 9th season of the program could be indicative of how successful their quest has been thus far. The siblings have unearthed a variety of intriguing artifacts, such as money, weapons, and jewelry, but they have yet to find Captain Kidd's legendary loot. The longer one searches without discovering the treasure, the more reasonable it becomes to question its very existence. The story should be regarded as a myth, despite the fact that many people have searched for his riches. The discovery of evidence that Daniel McGinnis had discovered the money pit in the 1790s did not occur until 1857. In addition, the account differs based on the cited source. There is little evidence to suggest that Captain Kidd concealed valuables on Oak Island, and the popular conception of pirates is wholly fictitious. Walking the plank and other stereotypes, such as parrots and prosthetic legs, are not supported by substantial evidence. The portrayal of Robin Newton as Long John Silver in the 1950 film adaptation of Treasure Island also contributed to the mythologizing of the infamous pirate incident. Contrary to conventional belief, there is only one well-documented case of a pirate actually burying treasure, and it wasn't them, Captain William Kidd. Be sure to stay informed and subscribe for more information on recent discoveries and findings. On Gardner Island, 500 miles away, Kidd buried his wealth, which was discovered less than a year later and used as evidence in his trial and execution. However, it is also conceivable that Kidd hid treasure on Oak Island. Why would Kidd, or any pirate for that matter, go through the trouble of excavating a 30-meter-deep booby-trapped pit to conceal treasure if the objective was merely to keep anything valuable secure? A few meters would have sufficed, correct? Even if Kidd did bury wealth on Oak. The most intriguing artifacts found in the crypt include several coins, some of which are from the 16th century, several gold links, and a stone with indecipherable inscriptions that has confounded treasure hunters and scholars for more than 2 centuries. There's a chance the crypt holds all of these relics. Many people who search for wealth believe they have found the Money Pit's Big Vault, which is a large vault that is more than 100 feet deep. In and around the pit, most of the artifacts that have been discovered so far have more historical value than monetary value. While some items hint at brand-new puzzles, certain objects offer tantalizing hints to treasures that have not yet been found. Having fun so far with this video? Did you already sign up? By doing this right away, you will receive more updates on great discoveries and a notification when the next post is available. Of the lengthy 9-season run of the program. Could this coin be a little piece of a much larger hidden treasure? Pirates, Spaniards, Egyptians, soldiers from the British military, or Knights Templar, who carried the coin to Oak Island? It's possible that with more study and continued excavation, all of these mysteries, along with others, will eventually be revealed. In Dan's Breakthrough, the 8th episode of The Curse of Oak Island, Season 5, the Lagena brothers and Gary Drayton pick up their quest for hidden treasure. This time, they return to Lot 16, which is around the area where they first found the 2 English coins in Season 5, Episode 1, Obstruction. The 3 treasure hunters don't have to search very far before they come across 3 distinct items. The first thing they find is a piece of a small horseshoe, perhaps made for a pony or mule. After that, a more astounding discovery, a round of ammunition known as grape shot, is made in quick succession. Small spherical balls known as grape shot, which were frequently made of iron, were fired from cannons mounted on ships. Their third and final discovery was a little coin that they think was produced in the 17th century, just like many of the other coins that had previously been found on the island. Each new find of a 17th century relic brings the mystery of Oak Island one step closer to being solved. The cost of doing so would make it impossible for the Laginas to simply excavate all of Oak Island, which is the first and most obvious reason. Even if it is unquestionable that the Lagena brothers have reaped some financial rewards over the years and have received backing from a number of sources, excavating the entire island would still take an incredible amount of time and resources. The main reason, however, that they are unable to simply excavate the entire island is because doing so would have a catastrophic effect on the island's ecosystem, as well as the environment surrounding it. The island's native flora and animals, which live on the island's 140 acres of woods, would be in danger if the forest on Oak Island were cleared in order to find anything. It would be both an environmental nightmare and a public relations problem for the series, which may be the brothers' main source of income. The marine animals that live in the waters surrounding the island would likewise suffer long-term effects from this kind of damage. Because getting approval for this kind of project is difficult for them to execute, and because they will never be able to do it, it is abundantly clear that the Lagena brothers do not intend to take such severe action anytime soon. They seem to be sticking with their tried and proven method of throwing darts at the map in the hope that one of them would land on the treasure they have spent their entire lives searching for. A flurry of international treasure hunters descended upon Oak Island in search of the hidden wealth. The first planned excavation of the money pit took place in 1803 under the leadership of a group of investors known as the Onslow Company. They were given their own money pit. The excavations had to be terminated because the parties' attempts to descend to the pit's floor were unsuccessful. The following century saw a variety of groups try to solve the island's riddles, but due to the enormous difficulties they encountered, none of them were successful. The hole was flooded, which was the most significant of these, and made additional excavation unsafe and difficult. The importance of this aspect was the greatest of all. Additionally, the pit was wired with a number of devices that, when activated, would cause the pit to fill with water and keep anybody from discovering the treasure. Despite these barriers, the excavations persisted, and the Oak Island Treasure Company was founded in 1861. The flooding that was taking place in the pit prevented this specific squad's attempts from progressing past a depth of 90 feet. As a result of the bankruptcy of the Oak Island Treasure Company in 1909, the excavations were abruptly ended at that time. Since then, a number of additional teams have tried to locate the riches that is hidden on Oak Island, but the enigma of the money pit has remained a secret. The discovery of the money pit and the initial excavations on the island both had a significant impact on the evolution of the island's history, as well as the ongoing search for treasure there. Even with the challenges and roadblocks that were encountered, this is true. Despite the various challenges and disappointments that have been encountered over the centuries-long search for riches on Oak Island, the mystery surrounding the island's location continues to fascinate people. The quest to unravel the mystery surrounding the island has recently been taken on by a number of new entities. In 2010, the Oak Island Tourism Society was founded as a group dedicated to preserving the island's history and encouraging tourism. The most notable change to have taken place in recent years is this one. The Oak Island Archaeological Society has played an important role in raising public knowledge of Oak Island and the treasure hunt, in addition to participating actively in several archaeological digs on the island. Get on the mailing list right away to learn about fresh information and surprising findings about Oak Island. The Lagena brothers will probably receive the lion's share of the treasure, it appears. First of all, the Lagena brothers' ongoing search of Oak Island is authorized by the Treasure Trove license. Licensed treasure hunters are allowed to legally keep 90% of any wealth they uncover, according to a government rule. Marty goes on to suggest that it is very likely that multiple claimants would surface and argue that they had a right to the treasure's contents if a sizable treasure were found on Oak Island. These claimants may rely on some element of their residence, their ancestry, or another factor to support their claims. There will undoubtedly be a lot of people trying to get their hands on at least some of the fabled riches, but it is impossible to say who, if anyone, will be successful. The Lagena brothers and the government would both have legitimate rights over at least some share of the treasure, making them the obvious choice for at least two recipients. However, it is impossible to predict if a situation like this would ever happen in The Curse of Oak Island. A team of researchers are shocked by my shocking revelation. For additional information, watch the video after this one. As they dug deeper, the shaft began to fill with water. Although there was no wealth to be found, the legend that developed around the purportedly hidden gold was so compelling that for the past 225 years, people have traveled to Oak Island in the hopes of discovering the treasure. In addition, as the years went on, more people joined the search for hidden treasure on the island outside of the money pit, which was the term given to the initial dig made by McGinnis and his associates. But what precisely is the treasure that is thought to exist? There are many theories floating around about what might be in the Oak Island treasure, and they range from the feasible to the absurd in terms of believability. The hypothesis that the relic in question is the rumored hidden fortune of a famous pirate from the so-called Golden Age of piracy, which roughly encompassed the years 1660 to 1730, is the one that is most widely accepted and backed by the most evidence. Famous buccaneers and pirates like Edward Teach, often known as Blackbeard, patrolled the waters off the east coast of North America during this time, traveling from Canada to the Caribbean islands. Have you signed up? To be the first to learn when the next video is out, make sure to do so right away and enable post notifications. The governments of Spain, England, France, and other countries that had a significant financial stake in the security of their commerce in this region were helpless to stop pirates from attacking significant colonial ships that were returning to Europe because of the high level of piracy that prevailed during this time. The golden age of piracy in the Western Atlantic only came to an end when the major European powers consented to add a clause to crack down on pirates in the Treaty of Utrecht, which ended the War of the Spanish Succession in 1713. Whether or not the money hole on Oak Island was made by humans is a topic of much debate. Geological evidence suggests that the money pit was not a man-made vault for concealed treasure. The bedrock on the island has a propensity to dissolve there due to the waves and the water table. This directly causes the construction of a subterranean network of faults and caves that has the potential to collapse and produce natural sinkholes. Despite this, the allure has drawn treasure hunters to the little island. The narratives have fueled skepticism about the circumstances leading up to the pit's development. On a distant island, a shocking new discovery was uncovered. Click the next video to learn more.